21st century. Global humanitarian crises these days have reached some of the highest levels ever recorded in the recent history. During the past 2 years, UNHCR has been facing 4 large emergency operations in countries like South Sudan, Mali, Democratic Republic of Congo, and Syria. UNHCR, at the risk of its humanitarian workers' lives, strives to help the people who have come to the edge of hopelessness and despair. Armenia witnessed its largest flows of refugees in 1988. UNHCR was one of the first organizations which lent a helping hand to the newly independent country. UNHCR established its presence in Armenia in December 1992 in response to the request of the government of the Republic of Armenia to assist with the mass influx of nearly 400,000 ethnic Armenian refugees from Azerbaijan. In the early years, UNHCR's work concentrated on meeting the needs of refugees from Azerbaijan. Once the emergency phase was over, UNHCR began supporting the refugees to achieve self-sufficiency and self-reliance by implementing a number of activities in the areas of shelter, healthcare, water supply, microcredit funds, rehabilitation of schools, and many other projects. Between 1994 and 2012, UNHCR expended some $32 million in its programs and activities to support refugees in Armenia. Since the end of 2004, Armenia has also received hundreds of ethnic Armenian refugees from Iraq and small numbers of asylum seekers and refugees from other countries in the Middle East, Africa, and Asia. Between 1994 and 2010, UNHCR Armenia allocated about $20 million for shelter activities. Cottages and apartments were constructed for more than 4,500 families with the support of the Norwegian Refugee Council, the government of the Federal Republic of Germany, and UNHCR. In 1995, UNHCR built 100 cottages in Kazakh village of Kotaik Mars for refugees from Azerbaijan. Additionally, this 2-story social house, recently constructed with the support of UNHCR, was part of the joint program with 4 other UN agencies: UNICEF, UNDP, UNFPA, and UNIDO. The project was funded by the government of Japan through the United Nations Trust Fund for Human Security in New York, with the aim to improve the living standards of refugees and other socially vulnerable families in Kazakh, Geramasar, and Pambak communities. We lived in Kazakh in a prison building for 24 years. And we were given apartments at last. We are a family of 5, 3 daughters, my wife and I. We are so happy. We say thank you from the bottom of our hearts. The living conditions are now excellent. All is in place, with European standards. In recent years, UNHCR has been focusing more on its main mandate, supporting the government to develop and strengthen its legislative framework, procedures, and capacities to ensure that refugee protection system is fully in line with international standards. UNHCR was actively involved in the development of the new law on refugees and asylum, which was adopted in November 2008 and entered into force in January 2009. In November 2012, UNHCR Armenia, with the support of UNHCR's Division of International Protection in Geneva, Council of Europe, and the Ministry of Internal Affairs of the Republic of Moldova, organized a seminar on questions of citizenship and statelessness. The seminar hosted a forum for key government and civil society stakeholders in Armenia and international experts to exchange views and experiences on the issues of nationality and statelessness. The meeting focused on the main causes of statelessness and the ways it can be prevented and reduced, that is, improvement of national legislation and the relevant procedures, as well as on the development of appropriate measures to protect stateless persons. A series of summer school classes on refugee law were held for the students of law faculty at the Yerevan State University. The students were introduced to basic provisions and principles of refugee law, international legal mechanisms for the protection of the internally displaced and stateless persons. Along with numerous initiatives aiming at effective protection of refugees and asylum seekers, UNHCR continues its activities to ensure successful integration of refugees in the society, which is indeed a durable solution for refugees from Azerbaijan. To achieve this, refugees need more support from the government, UNHCR, local and international organizations, and their compatriots. That is why UNHCR, with its partners, will jointly initiate projects on integration to ensure self-reliance and self-sufficiency of refugees, and will carry on with educational and vocational programs, small business loans, and other projects. UNHCR Armenia, through the Small and Medium Entrepreneurship Development National Center, also supports the state program for startup entrepreneurs, which includes the provision of training and counseling, as well as information and financial assistance. It is difficult to find a job in this country. It is wonderful that UNHCR willingly supports refugees and many other people who are unemployed. We traveled from country to country. It's hard to start a business, and this is such a great opportunity we were granted. It's a helping hand that is generously lent to us. They help me develop professional skills, offer business education and financial support so I can get on my feet. Another refugee integration program initiated by UNHCR is Community Technology Access, which aims at granting refugees access to and knowledge about computers in order to open up education and livelihood opportunities to them. Since 2011, in the framework of Albert Einstein German Academic Refugee Initiative Fund (DAFI) program, UNHCR, through its implementing partner Mission Armenia NGO, provides scholarships to the most needy refugee students to start or continue their tertiary education in Armenia. 17 students displaced from Iraq, Iran, Georgia and Azerbaijan benefit from the DAFI program. There's a program called DAFI. It opened new doors for us. We are now receiving education. We study and enjoy students' life. We now even study with excellence and enjoy our higher scores. My university tuition for 2012-13 is now covered. Thanks to DAFI, I can study and receive higher education. Together with UNHCR, we are implementing a very important project. We support refugee students with free-of-charge education. I wanted to study very much, but I couldn't afford my education. Then we applied to UNHCR, and they met our request. I am very happy. I can foresee my future now. My tomorrow and the day after will definitely be great. Owing to UNHCR, now I study and my desire is to become a programmer. World Refugee Day 2012 turned into a parade of public events organized by UNHCR Armenia and partners, students, children, refugees and asylum seekers in Yerevan and in the regions. Press conference by the youth. Memorandum of Understanding signing ceremony between UNHCR and human rights defender. The specially produced WRD PSA with the participation of a prominent national footballer, Eduard Markarov, and Angelina Jolie's WRD 2012 PSA were presented during World Refugee Week between June 18 and 30, 2012 during various events and on the screens of the city streets, monitors of Armenia International Airports, Moscow Cinema, through various public TV channels and social networks, and at UN House. March and flash mob by refugee women. WRD concert with Iraqi community in Darpnik village. Drawing contest by refugee children in Ararat Mars. WRD march and flash mob by students and diaspora volunteers. Cuisine contest by asylum seekers and refugees. And the WRD final event with the youth. We've got together to mark World Refugee Day and pay tribute to refugees in the world, promote tolerance and respect towards them. We should all understand what it means to be a refugee and how important it is to protect and assist them. None of us is secured from being a refugee, and we are the ones who can make a difference, who can do something to help a refugee. From the first days of its establishment in Armenia, UNHCR cooperates with and enhances partnership with numerous organizations. Mission Armenia, Armenian Red Cross Society, Armenian Center of Health and Education, Armenian Social Investment Fund, YMCA Shelter, Women's Resource Center of Armenia, Armenian Young Lawyers Association, and many others.
Crisis in Syria has so far produced over 500,000 refugees in the neighboring countries and in North Africa. And neighboring countries as Jordan, Lebanon, Turkey, and Iraq. Around 6,000 refugees from Syria have come to Armenia. They are almost all ethnic Armenians. Some came with Armenian passports. Others, after coming here, have applied for Armenian citizenship, and their request is being processed in fast-track procedure. Unlike other Syrians, ethnic Armenians coming in Armenia have easy access to an alternative citizenship, to Armenian citizenship. And therefore, they don't necessarily have to apply for refugee status in order to regularize their stay, whether temporary or long-term, in Armenia. And the government has taken many measures to facilitate their entry and stay in Armenia for the time they need. Of course, we would like to see the same for refugees from Iraq, also of ethnic Armenian origin, and other refugees, non-ethnic Armenians, to have easy access to a nationality in Armenia in order to get out of this legal limbo. One of our top priorities in Armenia is to see an end to the refugee situation that started some 24 years ago, refugees from Azerbaijan. Of the 360,000 refugees from Azerbaijan who came during 1998-2004, the majority has found a lasting solution either in Armenia or elsewhere. Many, nearly 90,000 I believe, have acquired Armenian citizenship. There are still an estimated 1,800 who remain as refugees and live for the past, say, 23 years in communal centers under very difficult circumstances. They need a solution to their problems, and that's what we are working on with the government. Other priorities are in the legal field. We are working very actively with authorities, especially with the State Migration Service, in helping them improve the asylum legislation and the procedures for identifying and determining who is a refugee and who is not. A lot has been done already, but this is still work in progress, and will continue to be involved actively over the coming years.
The assistance of UNHCR to refugees in Armenia has been immense. The office has made an extremely important contribution. Tens of thousands of people were secured with decent housing, rediscovered their new reality, rebuilt their lives in the new host countries, and found faith and trust in their future.